Top 10 World's Most Expensive Gemstones in 2025. Since dawn, humanity has chased what it cannot have. Not out of need, but out of awe. There's something buried deep in us that responds to beauty born from rarity. These gemstones aren't just ornaments. They're geological miracles forged in silence beneath ancient mountains, inside sleeping volcanoes, and under oceans that no longer exist. In 2025, as markets shifted and collectors outbid nations, one truth became clear. The ultimate status symbol is no longer gold, art, but stone. A stone so rare, so impossibly flawless, it silences science and seduces empires. What you're about to see isn't just a list. It's a revelation of the 10 most expensive gemstones on Earth, measured not only by carat, but by obsession, secrecy, and unimaginable value. This is the new empire of stone. Don't forget to press and hold that like button, leave a comment, and hit subscribe before we begin. Ranked 10th, Black Opal, Fire in the Dark. Beneath the scorched red soil of Lightning Ridge, Australia lies something far older than human memory. Not a stone, but a phenomenon. This is Black Opal, one of Earth's most elusive treasures. Its value in 2025 will reach around $10,000 per carat, but its price is the least interesting. Black opal doesn't sparkle, it erupts. Where most gems reflect light, black opal fractures it into ribbons of fire. Red flares through the green. Neon blue glides under smoky violet. It feels less like a gemstone and more like holding a cosmic event in the palm of your hand. Millions of years ago, this land was submerged beneath an ancient sea. As the waters receded, they left behind silica-rich sediments. Over time, pressure and geological alchemy solidified these into opal. But in rare zones where ironstone formed the host rock, something else happened. Darkness gave birth to fire. The result is a gemstone unlike any other. The only opal where color doesn't just shimmer, it explodes. But what makes it black? Technically, it isn't black at all. Instead, it has a dark body tone, a deeper base color that turns the internal flashes of color into something cinematic. The darker the base, the brighter the flame. It's a paradox of light. The darker the body, the more brilliant the soul. Gemologists grade black opals by size and how fiercely they burn. A 5-carat stone with weak blue is worth far less than a 2-carat one, flashing crimson. Because red is the rarest color in opal, the first wavelength to disappear in low light, and the most coveted by collectors. And then, there's the harlequin pattern, a checkerboard of blazing color, symmetrical, angular, wildly geometric. Only a handful of stones in history have shown it. One of them, the Aurora Australis, weighed 180 carats and sold for nearly $763,000. Not for its size, but for the storm it held within. To the Aboriginal people of the Yuwalare Nation, opals are sky fragments, remnants of a time when a creator walked the earth on a rainbow, and where he stepped, fire became stone. To the early 20th century miners, they were a miracle. Discovered by accident, hidden beneath unforgiving terrain, and as unpredictable as lightning. Mining black opal is a brutal endeavor. Shafts run deep into scorched, unstable ground. Heat exceeds 110 degrees Fahrenheit, and most of what comes up is worthless rock. But occasionally, a small nodule, called a knobby, reveals that unmistakable flash. And in that moment, a week's labor becomes a lifetime's prize. In 2025, natural black opal has become more valuable than ever. With lab-grown diamonds flooding the market, collectors have turned their eyes to what can't be cloned. And black opal has unique patterns, unpredictable structure, and unrepeatable beauty. Demand is surging in Europe, Japan, and the Middle East as high jewelry brands scramble for ethically mined specimens. Stones over 5 carats with vivid red or multicolor patterns now regularly exceed 6 figures at auction. But this isn't just about value. Black opal is proof that the earth is still creating things we don't fully understand, that beauty doesn't need symmetry, that color doesn't need to be explained, and that darkness sometimes is the best canvas for light. Because not all treasures shine in gold. Some burn quietly, in silence, in stone, and in the fire that refuses to fade. Ranked ninth, Demantoid Garnet, the Russian flame. In the heart of 19th century Russia, where winter palaces gleamed with frost and the Romanov dynasty ruled with opulence, a single green spark caught the eyes of czars and jewelers alike. It was not an emerald or a peridot. This was something else, something with fire. It was a rare gem, so electrically alive with light that it earned a name meaning diamond-like. But no diamond ever danced like this. The secret is dispersion, the gem's ability to split white light into flashes of color. Only Demantoid possesses this optical alchemy among all garnets, scattering miniature rainbows with every tilt. Under candlelight, it doesn't just glow, it flares, green embers licking the edges of vision, a fire that flickers, even in stillness. Discovered in the Ural Mountains during the 1860s, Demantoid became an obsession in Imperial Russia. Master jeweler Peter Carl Fabergé wove it into his most delicate creations, pairing its forest green fire with diamond halos and woven gold, not because it was grand, but because it was alive. True Demantoid carries more than color. It holds a fingerprint, horsetail inclusions, golden, thread-like wisps formed by bacillite trapped within. Far from flaws, these structures became signatures. A gem with perfect horsetails, visible under a loupe, is not rejected. It is celebrated, proof of origin, proof of purity, evidence that it came from the Earth's coldest embrace. Modern deposits exist, Namibia, Italy, Madagascar, but those lack the Russian story, the soul, and the flame. Ural Demantoid remains the benchmark, and collectors know it. A fine Russian stone, over 1 carat, with a complete horsetail structure and vivid green body, can command $10,000 to $15,000 per carat, if one appears at all. Its rarity is a matter of both geology and silence. Mines once rich have fallen dormant. Many stones remain locked within private aristocratic collections, passed down like secrets. When one surfaces, it doesn't just sell, it's hunted. Unlike diamonds' weighty drama or sapphire's regal presence, Demantoid whispers. It flickers rather than commands. Its power is quiet, its motion constant, like fireflies beneath pine trees or the hush of a candle before a prayer. This is not a gemstone for monuments. It was never made to dazzle a room. It was made to enchant a gaze, to disappear when turned away and reappear with a vengeance the moment light returns. No two Demantoids burn the same. Some lean yellow, others green. Some shoot flames across their facets like lightning trapped in ice. Others simmer and are patient as if waiting for permission to ignite. But all of them, every last one, carry a kind of memory. Not of heat, but of restraint. A gem forged not in volcanic fury, but in the patient stillness of pressure deep beneath frost-bitten earth. So when the fire finally came, it didn't roar. It shimmered. Ranked 8th, Musgravite, the stone that hides. It doesn't gleam in jewelry store windows. It doesn't headline auctions, and most people, even collectors, have never seen one in person. Musgravite is not a gemstone that seeks attention. It avoids it, silent, elusive, and in many ways mythic. First discovered in the desolate Musgrave Ranges of South Australia in 1967, it remained a scientific curiosity for decades, too scarce to cut and too uncertain to value. At first, even gemologists confused it with taffete, a cousin so similar that only advanced spectroscopy could tell them apart. But unlike its sibling, Musgravite made a habit of disappearing. In its purest form, it appears smoky, green-gray to purple-gray. Not a color that screams, but when light cuts through just right, the stone reveals a strange glow, like moonlight behind frost, a quiet radiance, as if it's aware of being watched. Only a few faceted pieces exist globally, not hundreds, dozens, or single digits per year. Some reports suggest fewer than 20 carat-quality stones are cut annually. Even that may be optimistic. Most never make it past the lab. What gives it value isn't glamour, it's silence. Rarity is born from refusal. Musgravite doesn't try to impress, it withholds. And in a world obsessed with visibility, that makes it priceless. The few specimens that reach auction, usually under 2 carats, command between $30,000 and $40,000 per carat. But their appeal isn't measured in sparkle. It's in store, in secrecy, in the simple fact that this gem, like a shadow, exists on its terms. There's a strange nobility in that. Jewels often strive to outshine one another. Musgravite simply declines. It doesn't dazzle. It doesn't dance. It endures, quietly, impossibly. And those who understand what that means don't need it to do anything more. Rank 7th, Jeremejevite, the vanishing blue. No announcement marks its arrival. No shimmer in storefronts hints at its presence. Jeremejevite is a gemstone known not by sight but by reputation. The kind spoke of in hushed tones between appraisers and collectors who deal in the near invisible. First discovered in Siberia in the late 19th century, Jeremejevite drifted through scientific circles as a mineral oddity, largely overlooked. For decades, its name was more common in textbooks than in vaults. Only in the past few years did the market finally turn its gaze, and in 2025, it became one of the most expensive and undersupplied stones on Earth. Its color, a pale, icy blue that appears almost transparent under intense light, is deceptive. At first glance, it seems too soft, too subtle to matter. But the clarity, the internal structure, the way light appears to hesitate inside the crystal before passing through, it's unlike anything else. Under magnification, the stone behaves as if carved from the atmosphere, solid air trapped in a prism. What sets Jeremejevite apart is not just its rarity, it's the precision it demands. Only a handful of deposits are known, scattered between Namibia, Myanmar, and the original Siberian sites. But even when found, most crystals are too small or fractured to facet. The few that survive cutting with high clarity and even saturation are fiercely protected. And in 2025, prices for gem-grade stones have soared above $35,000 to $40,000 per carat. No synthetic counterpart exists, and no treatments can mimic it. And even among elite collectors, owning one has become a status of silent power, proof not of wealth, but of access. Jeremejevite does not command attention the way sapphires or emeralds do. It evades spectacle. Museums rarely display it. Jewelers hesitate to mount it, because once cut, once set, once worn in daylight, it almost disappears, and that's its most haunting strength. While other gemstones compete for brilliance, Jeremejevite withdraws, a presence felt more than seen. It asks nothing. It announces nothing. It's not flamboyant. It's not radiant. It simply exists, like a breath held inside glass. In a world obsessed with the visible, this gem has become the icon of invisibility. In doing so, it claims one of the highest per-carat values of any transparent mineral today. No grand tale, no royal origin, just scarcity, purity, and a silence that keeps getting more expensive. Ranked 6th, Grandidierite, ocean trapped in stone. If the sea could fossilize its breath, it might resemble Grandidierite. This is no stone of fire or flash. It doesn't burn, dazzle, or blind. It lingers, suspended somewhere between green and blue, like the last ripple before the ocean stills. First unearthed in Madagascar in 1902, Grandidierite remained a mineralogical mystery for nearly a century. Not because no one believed in it, but because no one could find it. For decades, the world possessed only a few fragments, locked in museum drawers, too opaque or fractured to see the light again. And then, like a lost tide returning, it reappeared. A new deposit in southern Madagascar, deep in mountainous terrain cloaked in mist, revealed a cluster of rough crystals. The gem world held its breath. Most were cloudy, but a few, just a few, revealed an inner glow, bright, semi-translucent, and cold as tidewater. When cut, Grandidierite plays with light in secretive ways. It's trichroic, showing 3 distinct colors depending on the angle: deep sea green, glacier blue, and an icy gray-white that slips in and out like fog. There's no consistent rhythm, no predictable hue. What the gem reveals depends entirely on where and how you look. In 2025, Grandidierite remains among the world's rarest cuttable gemstones. While lower quality specimens can be found, accurate gem-grade material, with clarity, depth, and full trichroism, is measured in grams, not kilograms. Stones over 1 carat with top transparency routinely exceed $50,000 per carat, and many never even reach public sale. Jewelers are cautious about it. The material is brittle, cleaving easily under heat or pressure. Cutting a single carat can waste half a dozen rough stones. But for those who succeed, the reward is elemental. A gem that doesn't just reflect the ocean, it feels like it was made from its silence. There are no palaces tied to Grandidierite, no coronations, no myths. Only the whisper of deep water pressed into crystal form. And perhaps that's why it commands reverence. It doesn't strive to be majestic. It simply exists as nature intended. Unpredictable, shifting, and pure. Not a performance, not a promise, just presence. In a world of spectacle, Grandidierite is a retreat, and its rising value in 2025 doesn't come from demand. It comes from the realization that not everything rare needs to roar. Some things have to be found before they vanish again. Ranked 5th, blue garnet, the color shifter. Daylight says one thing, candlelight says another, and blue garnet says both, with absolute certainty. Among the family of garnets, a group often dismissed as common, familiar, and predictable, this outlier breaks the rulebook entirely. It is the only known variety that naturally changes color, not through trickery or coating, but through its atomic structure. Discovered in Madagascar in the twilight of the 1990s, blue garnet didn't make a loud entrance. It slipped into scientific reports, studied for its chemical strangeness, traces of vanadium and chromium that shift light absorption based on its source. Under the sun, it flashes teal to greenish blue. Under incandescent light, it bleeds violet. Not in gradient, in transformation. Most stones shift subtly. This one switches allegiance. What elevates blue garnet isn't just the shift, but the rarity. Almost no specimens exceed 2 carats, and the material is often riddled with inclusions or fractures that compromise value. Cutting it demands sacrifice. Owning one requires patience. And seeing one, clean, vivid, large, is to witness a moment that feels unreal. In 2025, this elusive gem surged in valuation. However, the number of confirmed gem-grade pieces remains low, far lower than diamonds, emeralds, or even Tophet. Hong Kong and Geneva collectors have quietly pushed auctions past $60,000 per carat, seeking pieces that exhibit the full spectral leap. But blue garnet isn't about wealth display. It isn't even about beauty in the traditional sense. It's about duality. Some gemstones exist to be seen. This one exists to respond, to react, to shift identity based on its surroundings, like a soul caught between two selves. Neither false, neither fixed. It refuses labels. It resists constancy. And in that rebellion lies its price. Because in an age obsessed with definition, the most valuable thing may be a gem that refuses to be just one thing. Ranked 4th. Red Beryl, the flame that shouldn't exist. Volcanic pressure, beryllium. Manganese. 3 ingredients that rarely meet. And when they do, they don't last long, which is why red beryl should not exist. Yet somehow, it does. Formed under a narrow set of geologic conditions found almost exclusively in the Wawa Mountains of Utah, red beryl is rarer than diamond by a factor of over 8,000. Not metaphorically, mathematically. For every 150,000 diamonds pulled from the earth, maybe 1 red beryl appears. Its hue is not ruby red, not garnet red, but something sharper, hotter. A concentrated crimson fire with a molecular structure almost identical to emerald, but denser and more volatile. Even in rough form, it glows with urgency, as if lit from within by something trying to escape. Most crystals are tiny, barely large enough for a ring setting. Stones over 1 carat with high clarity are geological lottery tickets. 2 carats? Auction-worthy. 3? Museum-bound. 5? A myth. 2025, the Wawa mines will remain nearly exhausted, and no new primary source will be discovered. As a result, prices for top-grade stones now sit between $80,000 and $100,000 per carat, with elite pieces crossing that threshold without fanfare, often sold privately, quietly, to collectors who don't speak in bids but in favors. Red Beryl hasn't been treated, synthesized, or duplicated successfully, making every cut stone not just rare, but final. Once mounted, it disappears into permanence. There are no second chances. The stone has no royal history, no empires were crowned with it, and no dynasties wore it on their necks. Its value isn't inherited, it's earned by surviving impossibility. Because Red Beryl isn't rare like most gemstones, it's rare like lightning. Brief, brilliant, and rarely in the same place twice. Ranked third, Pink Star Diamond, the billion-dollar flame. There are gemstones, there are treasures, and then there is the pink star. A diamond so rare, so precise in its perfection, it redefined the value of color itself. At 59.60 carats, internally flawless, and vivid pink without compromise, the pink star is not just the most expensive pink diamond ever sold. It is one of the most costly objects humanity has ever extracted from the earth. Its origin is South Africa, but its story is global. Cut and polished over 2 painstaking years by Steinmetz Diamonds, this stone entered the world stage in silence, not with flash, but with reverence. When it first appeared at auction, even the gavel seemed to hesitate. In 2017, it sold for $71.2 million at Sotheby's Hong Kong. In 2025, its per-carat value is estimated at over $1.5 million, setting a benchmark no other colored diamond, not blue, not yellow, not red, has yet to eclipse. What gives it that price? Not size, not history, but saturation, an unyielding, almost surreal intensity of pink that defies logic. GIA graded it Fancy Vivid, the rarest color grade in the diamond world, and not just vivid, clean, flawless under magnification, a contradiction wrapped in fire. No treatment, no enhancement, no compromise. Unlike other pink diamonds that show hazy zones or secondary hues, the pink star glows like a sun made from cherry blossoms. Its color is uniform across every facet. It doesn't just reflect light, it absorbs attention. Collectors and royalty have spent centuries chasing diamonds for what they represent: strength, eternity, purity. But the pink star offers something else: dominance. It does not whisper status, it declares it. This stone isn't a companion to wealth. It is the pinnacle of wealth itself. It is so rare that even replicas require permits. So I watched it travel with security typically reserved for national artifacts, and yet beneath its crown of market records and global headlines lies something more primal: the sheer impossibility of its birth. A pink diamond this size and clarity should not occur in nature. The odds are astronomical. The time required is unfathomable. The conditions are a miracle. So when it was finally revealed to the world, the question was never who could afford it. The real question was, who would dare hold a flame this pure and not get burned? Ranked second, Jadeite, the imperial stone. Not all stones are born equal. Some are born royal. In its highest form, imperial grade, Jadeite is not just a gemstone. It is a symbol of lineage, of legitimacy, of absolute power. While diamonds built empires in the West, Jadeite ruled the East. And not just any jade, the finest, mined in the dense jungles of northern Myanmar, where serpentine cliffs guard veins of stone more valuable than gold. Most jadeite is murky, cloudy, and veined, but imperial jadeite, almost translucent, vivid green, with no secondary hue, is so rare that a single bangle can sell for the price of a skyscraper. In 2025, prices for top-tier imperial jadeite reached an estimated $3 million per carat, primarily driven by demand from elite collectors across China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Singapore. The stone's cultural significance outweighs its physical beauty. In Chinese tradition, jade doesn't just represent wealth. It embodies virtue, protection, and eternal life. It's worn not merely for adornment, but for ancestral connection. The most famous example is the Hutton Adavani necklace, which features 27 perfectly matched imperial jadeite beads and was auctioned by Sotheby's for $27.4 million. Its allure wasn't just in its color, but in what that color meant: immortality carved into stone. What makes it valuable isn't carat size alone, its texture, the silkiness of its polish, color, pure, deep emerald green without gray or black intrusion, and clarity, a watery translucence that seems to breathe light rather than reflect it. But here's the paradox. Jadeite is technically not rare. It's abundant in lower grades. What's rare, almost unattainable, is perfection. In every 1,000 tons mined, barely a few grams achieve imperial quality. Even then, cutting it correctly is a perilous art. One wrong strike, and the stone fractures irreparably. No second chances, no recuts. Unlike diamonds or sapphires, jadeite carries no fire, no brilliance. Its power lies in stillness. It doesn't scream, it commands. The finest pieces never go to auction. They vanish into vaults and estates or pass from elder to heir, unseen for generations as secrets whispered through bloodlines. So, in the modern world of fluctuating markets, shifting currency, and synthetic stones, jadeite remains one of the last bastions of unshakable value. It cannot be grown, faked, or explained. It must be felt, like a pulse beneath the polished green. This isn't just the stone of emperors. It is the emperor among stones. In first place, Blue Moon Diamond, the gem beyond earth. Some gems reflect beauty. Some gems record history. And then, there is the one that defies both. The Blue Moon Diamond is not just rare, it is singular. A stone so impossibly perfect, so otherworldly in color, that it has no true rival in nature. No equal in price. There is no twin in memory. Discovered in 2014, pulled from the belly of the Cullinan mine in South Africa, the raw crystal was immediately unlike anything gemologists had ever seen. A 29.6 carat, rough with a color so rich and so internally complete that it silenced laboratories. It was not analyzed, it was revered. When cut, it became a 12.03 carat fancy vivid blue, internally flawless, a rare classification that enters a category beyond value. It sold at auction in 2015 for $48.4 million, and today its per carat value has soared to an estimated $4 million, making it, gram for gram, one of the most valuable objects ever shaped by human hands. But price isn't what makes the blue moon what it is. It's the color. Pure, uninterrupted, celestial blue. Not ice, not ocean, not even the sky, but something deeper, denser, a blue that feels like it was forged not by pressure, but by silence, the kind that lives between stars. This shade is born from the presence of boron in the diamond's crystal lattice, an atomic anomaly so rare that only 0.02% of diamonds exhibit any blue at all. And of those, fewer than a fraction are ever found with this intensity, purity, and scale level. Under UV light, the blue moon glows red, a phenomenon known as phosphorescence. It is as if the gem remembers every ray of light ever touched and secretly releases it. It's not just a diamond, it's a memory. Unlike most stones that pass from collector to collector, the blue moon was acquired by a private buyer who renamed it for his daughter, the Blue Moon of Josephine. Since then, it has disappeared from public view, locked behind vaults known only by records and whispers. It is no longer a gemstone. It is a legend in stasis. In the global market in 2025, as colored diamonds become extinct from public auction, the blue moon's value now moves beyond money. Experts no longer ask how much it would sell for. They ask if it ever will again. No other stone ends the list. No other color closes the book. Because when the light fades and all other gems have spoken their truths, only this one keeps glowing. A blue knot of oceans, a blue knot of sky, a blue that should not exist, and yet does. And now you've seen them. The rarest, most expensive gemstones the world has ever known. Some burn with fire hidden in darkness. Others change with the light or vanish entirely under it. A few may never be seen again, locked in vaults, passed silently between collectors and kings, or lost forever beneath the ground that birthed them. But the real question isn't just about carats or millions, it's about meaning. What makes something truly valuable? Is it the price or the mystery? Because the most extraordinary gemstones don't just sparkle, they whisper. They carry the weight of time, the silence of the earth, and the desires of those who dare to possess them. And in the right light, they reveal more about us than we ever imagined. Let us know which resonates with you in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this.